Leader Nancy Pelosi and top House Democrats called for him to step down amid growing allegations of sexual misconduct. Let's bring in Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney of New York. And Congresswoman, great to see you today.
Thank you. Great to see you on.
So the movement, the wave, if you will, on Capitol Hill has been going toward holding people accountable, finding about a slush account where victims were paid. And now this push against John Conyers. Are you surprised it took so long, or is this how things get done on Capitol Hill?
Look at this. Sexual harassment has been around for a long time. I, in fact, am the first member of the New York State Assembly when I served to call out our corrupt speaker, Sheldon Silver, to resign when we found out that he was using taxpayers' money in a secret payoff to cover up sexual harassment claims. And so that was an earth-shattering event back then, and followed by many other people coming forward. Right now what we have is all these settlements we're finding out are happening behind closed doors. We don't know much about them, and they're coming to light. Look, everybody has their due process rights, and I think that John Conyers and everyone else gets that too. But the evidence looks overwhelming. It looks like at this point it would probably be the right thing for him to do to step down, or at least to resign from his position, so that we can clear the way and make sure that all these things are being followed through with. Again, I know it's a very sensitive issue. It's due process. And I want to make sure people understand sexual harassment is about power. That's the most important element in it. It's not just sexual harassment for the sake of it. There's a power element, which is what makes it so onerous, and what you're seeing is prevalent in people who are in power here on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you've heard Bill Clinton brought up in the context of this conversation as well, because of the powerful position as president that he held when there was some messing around with Monica Lewinsky when she was an intern. So I'm trying to be polite. It's the lunch hour.
Yes, I see.
But I mean, when you look at that, the history that you talk about with Sheldon Silver, and now you fast forward to John Conyers, this is decades of behavior now, and finally on Capitol Hill, what?
Yeah, it's not surprising. As I said, power, sex, all those things are happening in a place like this. I mean, you have a lot of people who I think they get full of themselves, and they don't realize even the position they're in. They've forgotten their responsibility to the taxpayers, to the people they represent, and they get insulated here. And I think it's a good thing that now people are coming forward. I applaud the women out there that are coming forward and taking that brave step. And I think that it's a good movement happening in Washington, as it happened in Albany. And it's going to happen throughout time. But the fact that we're actually calling it out and putting it to the forefront, I think, is a good thing.
All right, real quickly before I let you go, and I don't want to make this too much about politics, but you can't ignore the fact that when you look on the other side of the political aisle and Nancy Pelosi's first response, it's only been a few days, she's done a flip. Supporting John Conyers, calling him an icon, and saying that that should be the reason why you support him, and I guess look past these things. I'm paraphrasing there. Tell me about this week and kind of the journey that you've been on as a woman there on Capitol Hill.
Right. Well, actually, I was stunned when I saw Congresswoman Pelosi's remarks on the Sunday News show. I said, what about these women? They're not icons. Are they not important because they're not an icon? Aren't we all important in this world? Aren't we all constituents? Aren't we all equal? And I thought it was shocking coming from someone like her who's supposed to be a champion of women. And so, yeah, this is something that goes on. I mean, I'm a woman Republican. I've always stood strong. It's very difficult sometimes to be in a very male-dominated world. But, I mean, I never look at myself as being a woman. I look at myself as being a leader, as someone who's going to help along both men and women in helping our nation and restoring and preserving our republic and what we do here. So I really try not to get into the divisiveness of the politics of it, but it is a real thing, and sexual harassment can happen on both sides with men and women, and also, again, it's power and politics mixed together, which is a dangerous component here in Washington.
Incredibly important perspective, as you called out for the first time that slush fund back in the day of Sheldon Silver and the payout to sex harassment victim. We appreciate your perspective today, Congresswoman Tenney of New York. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.